There is no other opening for oxygen to come. That's the reason oxygen is there inside the steel bomb. So during the reaction, what is the change in temperature? We'll have to note it down. Thermochemical equations, there are certain specifications which we need to remember when we are writing the equation. So all the substances are there in the standard state which are reacting. Then we call it as the standard enthalpy of a reaction. Hello my dear students, welcome back to session 4 on the chapter thermodynamics. Last class we have studied about the applications of first law of thermodynamics, as well as we studied about what is enthalpy, and we also studied about the heat capacity. Today we are going to study about the calorimeter and how do we measure the delta H and delta U. Okay, so first, measurement of delta H and delta U, that is change in internal energy and change in enthalpy, can be measured using a calorimeter. Now what is a calorimeter? An experimental technique used to measure the energy changes associated with any chemical or physical process is called as calorimetry. The process is called as calorimetry, and the apparatus which we are using for this, we call it as calorimeter. Okay, so in calorimetry, the process is carried out in a vessel, I told you, is called as calorimeter, and this calorimeter is immersed in a liquid whose heat capacity is known. Okay, they know the volume of the liquid as well as the heat capacity of the liquid in which the calorimeter is immersed. Inside the calorimeter also we are using the reaction mixture, as well as we should know the heat capacity of the calorimeter, and also it is possible to determine the heat evolved in the process by measuring the temperature changes. So here how are we going to measure delta H and delta U? It is basically with the change in temperature which is happening during the reaction. Okay, to understand this better, we have two types of measurement which can be done, that is at constant volume and constant pressure. That is, heat change can be measured at constant volume, we call it as QV, and the measurement is made at constant pressure, we call it as QP. So we learn both the methods. That is, first one is measurement of heat change at constant volume, that is delta U measurement which we are doing. That is change in internal energy which we can measure using a bomb calorimeter. Now what is this bomb calorimeter? The bomb calorimeter is sealed. This is completely sealed and there is no volume change, and thus whatever you are measuring here, the temperature change which is there at constant volume, or we can tell the heat change what you are measuring is at constant volume. Now what is bomb calorimeter? Here you can see there is a cylinder, steel cylinder, in which the entire process is happening, and that is called as steel bomb. And because of that, because of the heavy duty steel cylinder what we have here, okay, we call it as steel bomb. The entire process is also called as bomb calorimeter. Okay, so inside this steel bomb what we have a crucible inside which the combustible substance is kept, that is the substance whose delta U you want to actually calculate. That particular substance of known mass is taken in a crucible, and also there is an ignition wire which is there, or an ignition coil which is there, which is immersed, through which you can pass electricity and you can ignite it. Okay, then this entire bomb is kept immersed in water whose temperature you can measure here. So you have a thermometer, you also have an eyepiece to look into what is happening inside, and also this is the ignition wires. As I told you, there is a stirrer which is there so that the water there can be stirred for uniform temperature to be attained. Okay. Then as I told you, there's sample, there's a crucible, there's heater, okay, and there's airspace, insulating jacket, that is complete for insulation. As I told you, the heat should not go outside, so the entire thing is sealed and it is also insulated. Okay, so this is called as the warm calorimeter. So what do we have? Mainly what you have to understand is this has constant volume, it is completely insulated, and also inside we have a steel, heavy duty steel, which is there, cylinder, and we have taken the sample which is combustible, and also oxygen is there inside the bomb calorimeter at 30 atmospheric pressure. What is there? Along with the combustible substance, we also have oxygen, so that oxygen is required for combustion, isn't it? It is a supporter of combustion. So oxygen is also there, sample, then the ignition coil or the wires through which you can ignite it, and also there is a thermometer. We have a steel bomb which is of heavy duty cylinder, which we call it as steel bomb. Inside that we have a crucible in which the material or the sample of known mass is kept, and inside the bomb there is also oxygen gas at 30 atmospheric pressure. Okay, because oxygen, we know, it will support combustion, so it is very much required here. There is no other opening for oxygen to come. That's the reason oxygen is there inside the steel bomb. Now the steel bomb is immersed in water, of which temperature you can measure using the thermometer, and there is stirrer for the water to be stirred continuously so that the temperature will be uniformly distributed in the water, and the entire thing is again insulated and in a insulating jacket. And also oxygen can be supplied here. You can see there is a oxygen supply which can be done. Okay, so this is what is there in the bomb calorimeter. Now what happens is, once the ignition, through the ignition coil, we burn or ignite the sample here of known mass. When combustion is taking place, the amount of heat will be liberated. So when the heat is liberated from here, the change in the temperature of the water around is the one which is noted. So initial temperature is noted, and the noted temperature is noted after the entire reaction is happening. So you know how much of the heat will be liberated during the combustion of the substance, which will be used for calculating delta U. Okay, so the temperature change of the calorimeter produced by the complete reaction is then converted to QV by using the known heat capacity of the calorimeter. I told you the heat capacity of the calorimeter we should know. Also we should know the heat capacity of the water around it, and etc. With the help of this equation, we can calculate the internal energy change. Okay, so that's how, using bomb calorimeter, we can calculate the change in internal energy at constant volume. Next is measurement of heat change at constant pressure, that is delta H measurement, that is change in enthalpy, we can calculate by using this method. So here what do we have? The measurement of heat change at constant pressure can be done by using the calorimeter as it is shown here. Here what do we have? We have two styrofoam cups. One is immersed into the other. Okay, and we have a reaction mixture here. There's a thermometer and the stirrer. So during the reaction, what is the change in temperature? We'll have to note it down. And here the pressure is kept constant. Okay, so we know that delta H is equal to QP at constant pressure. Therefore, change in temperature, which is again related to the heat which is liberated, is directly equal to the enthalpy change. That is how we are going to calculate. So here, in an exothermic reaction, heat is evolved and the system loses heat to the surrounding, and therefore QP will be negative. What happens? An exothermic reaction, what is happening? The heat will be liberated to the surrounding from the system. So what will happen? QP will be negative and delta H will also be negative. Similarly, in an endothermic reaction, heat is absorbed and QP will be positive and delta H also will be positive. So always remember, in an endothermic reaction, heat is absorbed. Okay, and thus this is positive. Okay, in exothermic reaction, liberated, and this will be negative. Okay, so delta H also, when endothermic reaction, it is positive. Exothermic reaction, it will be negative. This you have to remember. Okay, so that's about the measurement of heat change at constant pressure to calculate delta H. Okay, next is, we have some numericals. Last class I had explained to you all about the first law of thermodynamics as well as its application. There are some numericals based on this which we will solve now. Okay, so the first one is, a gas absorbs 120 joules of heat and expands against the external pressure of 1.10 atmosphere from a volume of 0.5 liters to 2 liters. What is the change in internal energy? It's given that 1 liter atmosphere is equal to 101.3 joules. Okay, so what is it? We are supposed to, what is given? The gas absorbs 120 joules of heat. Heat how much? 120 joules of heat is absorbed, and it expands against the external pressure. External pressure is there, against that it will expand from 0.5 liters to 2 liters. What is the change in internal energy? From the first law we know that delta U is equal to Q plus W. Now here Q we know. What is Q? Gas absorbs 120 joules of heat. So Q absorbs means what? It is plus 120 joules. Correct? Next, the volume change is given. I have to calculate work. Okay, pressure is also told, it is constant pressure. So the formula is P external into V2 minus V1. So this is minus 1.10, that is the pressure, into volume changes. See, final minus initial, that is 2 minus 0.5, that is 1.5. So it is 1.10 into 1.5. I'll get it as liter atmosphere, which is nothing but minus 1.65 liters atmosphere. Correct? Yes. But here Q is in joules, this is in liter atmosphere. I have to convert both into same unit. It is also given that 1 liter atmosphere is 101.3 joules. So now I have to convert this into joules. So what I'll do? W is equal to minus 1.65 into 1 liter atmosphere is how much? 101.3 joules. This will be equal to 167.145 joules. Okay. Now I've got Q value, I've got W value. I'll have to substitute over here. Now here what we are going to do? Now we have to substitute the Q value, that is 120 plus minus 167.145 joules. So this will be equal to, see, this is plus, this is minus. So you'll get the minus answer, that is 47.135 joules. So this is delta U. Okay. I hope you have understood this. We'll go into the next problem, that is, calculate the total work done when 1 mole of the gas expands isothermally and reversibly from an initial value of 20 dm cube to the final value of 40 dm cube at 298 Kelvin. So what is the formula we need to use here? It is W is equal to minus 2.303 nRT log of V2 by V1. Now here 2.303, I'll keep it as it is. What is N? The number of moles of gas. It is what? 1 mole. So this is 1. our value is 8.314. That is our gas constant, isn't it? 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. Temperature is what? 298. It is given into log of V2. Final volume is 40 dm cube. Divided by initial volume is 20 dm cube. So this is log 2. Log 2 value is 0.3010. You have to see log 20 value under 0 and then you have to put 0 point those 4 numbers. Okay. So here it will be minus 2.303 into 1 into 8.314 into 298 into log 2 is 0.3010, which will be equal to minus 1717.46 joules. So this is the work done. I hope you have understood the numericals till now. We'll continue with the other topic, that is thermochemistry. What is thermochemistry? Till now we learnt about what is thermodynamics. Under thermodynamics, what did we learn? We learnt about first law of thermodynamics. We learnt what is internal energy. We learnt what is enthalpy. We learnt about heat capacity. We learnt about different types of thermodynamic processes as well, isn't it? And work done by the system, on the system, how do we measure the heat change? All of this we studied under thermodynamics. Now we are going into details of only thermochemistry. We are taking only the chemical reactions into consideration anymore. Okay. So what is thermochemistry? Thermochemistry is a branch of chemistry that deals with the heat changes during physical and chemical transformations. So what is it? When there is a chemical reaction which is happening, or when during the chemical reaction, if there is a physical transformation from a solid to gas or from gas to a liquid or liquid to a solid, what are the physical transformations which is happening? What are the chemical reactions which is happening? During that, what is the change in heat if we are going to learn about it? Then we call it as thermochemistry. Clear? So, thermochemical equations. Now, what is this thermochemical equation? Normally, we know to write the chemical equations. But thermochemical equations, there are certain specifications which we need to remember when we are writing the equation. So, what is it? We'll see. Thermochemical equations are the balanced chemical equation in which delta H during the reaction and the physical state along with the allotropic state of the reactants and the products are indicated. What is it? Not only writing a balanced chemical equation, we have to write the physical state which is there. If it's an allotropic form, we are supposed to write even that also. Okay. And also we'll be writing about the change in enthalpy. That is delta H we will write for every reaction. Then we call that equation as thermochemical equation. For example here, if I just write carbon plus oxygen giving carbon dioxide. This is not a thermochemical equation. Thermochemical equation means carbon is in the solid state, oxygen is in the gaseous state, carbon dioxide is in the gaseous state. Okay, and for this reaction, the change in enthalpy is minus 393.5 kilojoules. So, all of this if I write, then this equation is called as a thermochemical equation. Whenever it's a phase, okay, gaseous phase, it's a gas, we write like this within the brackets. If it's a liquid, we write it this way. If it's a solid, we write it as S. If it is dissolved in water, any substance is dissolved in water, we write it as aqueous. Okay. And also remember, when delta H is negative, heat is liberated. Okay. When delta H is positive, heat is absorbed for the reaction. Okay. And heat liberated, we called it as exothermic reaction. This is endothermic reaction. Okay. So, these are the things which you need to remember. to write a thermochemical equation. Next we have the enthalpy change of a reaction. What is it? It's also called as the reaction enthalpy. What is the enthalpy change of a chemical reaction? The enthalpy change during the chemical reaction is called as the reaction enthalpy. So during the chemical reaction, if heat is liberated or whether heat is absorbed, that will tell us about the enthalpy. So we can tell that whether enthalpy is negative or it can be positive depending on whether the heat is liberated or whether the heat is absorbed. But how do we calculate the enthalpy? That is, enthalpy of the reaction is sum of enthalpies of the product minus the sum of enthalpies of the reactants. It is denoted by delta H, okay, with an R like this. That is for the reaction. When we write, we put one R there. So this is the symbol for writing the enthalpies of a reaction or a chemical reaction specifically. That is enthalpy of the products minus enthalpy of the reactants. For this, I'll take a small example how to write. For example, I am taking methane reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. Okay, I don't know delta H, I need to calculate. First, we have to observe whether the reaction is balanced. If you see this, it's not a balanced equation. So here, I have 4 hydrogen. This became 4 hydrogen now. 2 plus 2, 4 oxygen is there. So here also, I'll have to put 1, 2. Now, it's a balanced chemical equation. For this one, how to calculate enthalpy of the reaction? I need to know the enthalpy of the products minus enthalpy of the reactants. Enthalpy of the products, what are the products? I have carbon dioxide, okay, 2 into enthalpy of water. Why I have taken 2? Because I have 2 molecules here, okay. So, this is the products minus what are the reactants? It is enthalpy of the methane plus 2 into enthalpy of oxygen, which I have to take. So this is how you calculate the enthalpy of the reaction. So enthalpies of each you have to know: carbon dioxide, water, methane, oxygen. If you know the enthalpy, we can calculate the change in enthalpy of a chemical reaction. So this is first one. Next is standard enthalpy of reaction. Now what is the standard enthalpy of reaction? The standard enthalpy of reaction is enthalpy change for a reaction when all the participating substances are there in standard state. So all the substances are there in the standard state which are reacting. Then we call it as the standard enthalpy of a reaction. Now what is the standard state? Pressure is 1 bar, temperature is 298. So the standard state of a substance is temperature at 298 Kelvin and its pure form pressure at 1 bar. Always standard conditions when we are taking, okay, we are measuring the enthalpy at standard condition, that is temperature 298 as well as the pressure is 1 bar. Then if we are calculating everything in the standard condition, then we put the symbol like this, R, H with a naught. If you put this naught, then it means that the enthalpy what you have calculated is the standard enthalpy change. Okay, so that's about the standard enthalpy of a reaction. Next is standard enthalpy of formation. Now what is the standard enthalpy of formation? See, the standard enthalpy of formation of 1 mole, okay, how much is formed? 1 mole of the compound from its elements in their most stable state is called as standard enthalpy of formation. So for example, you can take carbon plus oxygen is giving carbon dioxide. So 1 mole of carbon dioxide should be formed from the elements in their standard states, okay. So they are in the most stable state. Carbon in the stable state, it's a solid, and oxygen in the stable state, it is in the form of a gas. So from this stable states, they will react with one another to form 1 mole of a compound. Then we call it as the standard enthalpy of formation. Okay, and here for this we have delta H is equal to minus 393.5 kilojoules. Or we can also write it as delta H with one F here. F means it is for formation which we have calculated. Now for example, I'll take nitrogen is reacting with oxygen. Nitrogen is a gas, oxygen also is a gas, which is giving nitric oxide, NO. And this also is a gas, and delta H is equal to plus 180.7 kilojoules. Okay. Now, this is not the standard enthalpy of formation. Why? Because this is not 1 mole which is formed. I need the value for 1 mole of formation of nitric oxide. So, how do I calculate? Therefore, standard enthalpy of formation here for nitric oxide is plus 180.7 kilojoules divided by 2. Why? For 2 moles, so much heat. So, for 1 mole, how much heat is required? Okay, because it is plus, it is an endothermic reaction. So, this will be equal to 90.35 kilojoules. Correct, no? So, that is how we calculate the standard enthalpy of formation. Next class, we will be learning about enthalpies for different types of reaction as well. So, I hope you have understood today's class. Thank you, my dear children. Stay tuned, stay focused.